Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have Shawn Lane, and Shawn's going to be coming from 1993 here with his performance, and this is going to be Grey Pianos Flying. So let's get Shawn up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to stop it there because we've got so much to analyze already. It's one of those videos that you just want to watch. Shawn's got everything. I mean, he's got that ability to alternate pick and make those runs so nice and smooth. And also his tone here is great. He's got such a great smooth tone. Very much like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. Those kind of really smooth tones that really lend themselves to this really technical way of playing. But you've got to be technically good enough to put these smooth runs together. Shawn has got so many great techniques and he just makes them look so easy. He's got his alternate picking in there, his economy picking as well. He does great sweeping if he wants to. He's pretty much got every trick in the book and he's kind of worked at those tricks to get them to the top level of technical difficulty. But what I love about Shawn's playing as well is that he doesn't play technically for the sake of it. He always pairs it with melody. There's always great melody to his runs. It's never just shredding for shredding's sake. And what I love about Shawn is that he plays in that jazz fusion style, but he makes it so accessible because of his use of melody within the runs that he's playing and the notes that he's putting together. He'll throw in little bits of blues here and there as well. And just a little nod to all those different genres that he makes it sound so melodic that it just seems like it's all just one really beautiful piece of music, but he's actually borrowing from so many different genres and different styles. Another thing that he does here is he's resting his hand on these strings, palm muting is what it's called, so that he gets that real change in dynamic, really brings it down. The only thing is that when you are resting on the strings and you're playing anything technical, you're killing the sustain of the note, so it means that any mistake is just going to be so much more obvious. But of course Shawn has got such great technical ability that it doesn't matter, he can bring that dynamic down and still play some really cool technical lines. Another thing is that Shawn's got total mastery of his vibrato, which is something that I mention quite a lot. He sometimes vibratos with the whammy bar and he gets that really nice wide sounding vibrato, but then he's also got that ability in his left hand to the point where sometimes you're not sure if it's the left hand that's doing that vibrato and emoting or whether it's that whammy bar. He's got it to that level where he can imitate that whammy bar with his left hand. So really top level vibrato here as well. Another thing to look at here is how Shawn taps in those harmonics when he's playing his chord shapes. And if you don't know what harmonics are, I'll try and quickly explain it. If you imagine you've got a string and you strike the string and you just touch that string halfway, the string stops oscillating, it stops moving. If you've ever seen a string in slow motion or a really low tuned string, you'll see it kind of waving. And what you're doing with the harmonic is you're stopping that waving from happening, but the noise, the sound continues, and you get what's called an overtone, which is basically a higher pitched tone from the pitch that you started at, and that's called a harmonic. So of course when Shawn's doing it, he's not hitting an open string and touching the harmonic, which of course you can do on your guitar. If you've got a guitar at home, just strike any of the strings and just touch it on that 12th fret and you'll get a harmonic. Here, Shawn is playing the harmonics or touching in the harmonics with chord shapes. So of course he's having to adapt the position, because of course if we move our chord up the guitar neck, the harmonics are moving as well. So those harmonics are now in different positions. So Shawn's touching in the harmonics for each of these chord shapes. So it's such a cool technique, and something that is really takes a lot of time to plan out where these harmonics are, and to do them as quickly as Shawn's doing is really cool. And even if you don't understand harmonics, just the fact that it's so complicated just is really a testament to how cool what Shawn's doing here. But let's listen to a little bit more. And there we go, just when you thought your face couldn't get any more melted, that run from Shawn, such great technique, such a smooth sound. It's really impressive to watch that kind of thing. And as you can see actually there, Shawn, when he's playing his technical lines, and you'll find this with a lot of guitar players, is that he just props it up into a slightly more vertical position, which allows you to get more of a stretch on these really fast runs. Slash is one of those players that whenever he approaches anything on the more technical kind of range of playing, he'll start to just go to the front of the stage and he'll prop the guitar up on his thigh, and he'll do all of his alternate picking in his fast runs. Slash is one of those players that he has big hands anyway, so he can get away with having his guitar slung so low when he's playing his rhythm stuff and even some of his lead stuff as well. Whereas when you have smaller hands, you can't afford to compromise or sign away that extra little bit of stretch you get when the guitar's higher up. But let's watch a little bit more. And I love how tight that is. The fact that what he's playing is so technical, but it's so precise. And being so tight there, just cutting it off in a split second. And also what I love there is just that little throw in of the blues scale. It's so cool and so fast that blink and you'll miss it, but he just takes so many different styles and throws them all in there and makes them so accessible to listen to because of his ear for a melody, but really impressive. And what an ending to the song that is. Just that run is so cool, and it has to be so accurate to fit in so well, to be so tight with the backing. But to get your technical playing up to this level, to be that tight and that fast, is super impressive. And don't take my word for it, take Paul Gilbert's word for it. I think he said something like Shawn was the scariest guy ever, kind of technically, just in his ability across that fretboard. So coming from Paul, that really means a lot. And Guthrie Govan as well. He's one of those who cited Shawn as one of the best technical players. Buckethead as well. I did a video on him a few nights ago. I mean, you've just got to take this as just a performance of great technique, great melodic content as well, and great dynamics. Just every note has got its own feel and its own special dynamic. And just a quick word on Shawn, just as a guy, and the fact that he actually got psoriatic arthritis, psoriasis, and that affected his joints, and he just kept playing right until the end. Unfortunately, with the treatment for that is cortisol, so it meant that because Shawn wanted to get out there all the time and play, he just kept using that cortisol for the treatment because he had to, which the side effect of cortisol is weight gain. So Shawn, towards the end of his career, really started to put on weight, but only because he just wanted to share the art all the time. And it's really admirable that he did that and would just keep on gaining weight and just getting out there. It didn't matter to him. And just the final thing to mention is just the feel that Shawn can play with. He can really emote through his guitar like all the top players can, and he can get a dynamic and feeling to all of his runs and all of his slower passages as well. So really top playing all round here from Shawn. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. I'm going to put the link to this in the description so you guys can check it out. If you get a chance to check out any more of Shawn's stuff, please do. It's definitely worth a listen because he makes this jazz fusion so accessible with his use of melody. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!